Before you decide she just lost interest, listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you will make your stomach tighten. The women who truly respect a man don't act louder, they act differently, and most men miss it until it's already gone. If you want to understand female psychology without filters, subscribe now and like this video, because the truth you're about to hear is not taught anywhere else. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist, but also as a woman who has watched men confuse attraction with approval for decades. Respect is quieter than desire, heavier than chemistry, and far rarer than attention. When a woman respects you, her nervous system relaxes around you. She doesn't perform. She doesn't test you for sport. She adjusts herself internally, and that adjustment is the first thing men who are emotionally asleep never notice. The first thing a woman only does for a man she truly respects is this: she brings you her unpolished truth, not the charming version, not the agreeable version, the real one. She tells you when something bothers her instead of punishing you with silence. She corrects you calmly instead of humiliating you publicly. She risks conflict because she believes you can handle it. Psychologically, this is huge. Women do not offer honesty to men they don't respect. They offer compliance, avoidance, or performance. Honesty is reserved for men she sees as emotionally stable and internally strong. If she challenges your behavior without attacking your identity, that's respect. If she expects you to rise instead of shrink, that's respect. Notice how different this feels from nagging. There is no desperation in her voice. There is no neediness behind the words. There is a quiet assumption that you are capable of growth. That assumption is everything. Most men lose this without realizing it. They interrupt, they defend, they dismiss. And the moment a woman feels she has to protect her truth from your reactions, respect begins to die. Not because you're imperfect, but because you're unsafe to be real with. Understand this deeply. Attraction can survive games. Desire can survive chaos. But respect only survives strength, presence, and emotional maturity. When a woman stops telling you the truth, she hasn't become easier, she's already gone. And once respect disappears, no amount of charm, effort, or apologies can resurrect it without profound internal change from you over time and consistency. The second thing a woman only does for a man she truly respects is something most men completely misunderstand. She softens her resistance, not her standards, not her boundaries, her resistance. This is psychological, not romantic fantasy. When a woman respects you, her body and mind stop bracing against you. She doesn't feel the need to control the direction, dominate the conversation, or stay hyper-alert for weakness. She lets you lead without fear of being lost. This shows up in subtle ways. She asks your opinion and actually waits for it. She pauses before making decisions instead of rushing to prove independence. She allows silence without filling it. These are not signs of submission. They are signs of trust. A woman does not relax her guard around a man she doesn't respect. She stays sharp, witty, defensive, or performative. Relaxation is earned. Psychologically, respect tells her nervous system, this man can handle responsibility. And when a woman senses that, she instinctively stops fighting for control. Control is exhausting. Women only release it when they feel safe that leadership won't turn into neglect or ego. If she still respects you, she doesn't need to manage you. She lets you be you. Men often sabotage this by confusing leadership with dominance. They push decisions, force outcomes, or seek validation for every move. That does the opposite. Respect grows when you move calmly, decide deliberately, and don't need permission to be grounded. When she sees that, she doesn't resist. She aligns. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. When a woman starts resisting everything you say, questioning every decision, or subtly undermining your direction, it's rarely because she's difficult. It's because she no longer trusts your internal stability. Her resistance is compensation. She's doing emotional labor because she believes someone has to. A respected man doesn't demand cooperation. He creates an environment where cooperation feels natural. His tone is steady. His reactions are measured. He doesn't collapse under pressure or inflate under praise. That consistency tells her she can step back. And when she steps back, something powerful happens. She becomes warmer, more receptive, more feminine in energy without trying. Not because you asked her to change, but because respect removes the need for defense. If you want to know whether she respects you, don't watch her words, watch her resistance. If it's melting, not escalating, you're doing something right. If it's growing sharper, louder, or more frequent, respect is slipping. And once a woman feels she must fight you to feel secure, she is already preparing herself emotionally to leave. The third thing a woman only does for a man she truly respects is this: she protects your image when you are not in the room. This is one of the most invisible yet powerful indicators of respect, and almost no man is taught to look for it. A woman who respects you does not speak recklessly about you to her friends, her family, or the world. Even when she's frustrated, she frames you with dignity. Psychologically, this comes from identification. When a woman respects a man, part of her identity aligns with his reputation. She doesn't see herself as separate from the way he is perceived. So she doesn't vent carelessly. She doesn't mock you for social approval. She doesn't exaggerate your flaws for attention. She may express concern, but never contempt. Contempt is the language of lost respect. Pay attention to how different this is from love or attraction. A woman can love you and still embarrass you publicly. She can desire you and still belittle you in private conversations. But respect restrains her mouth. It makes her selective. It makes her loyal in ways that don't require you to be present. When a woman respects you, she gives you the benefit of context. If someone criticizes you, she explains instead of agreeing. If someone jokes at your expense, she redirects instead of piling on, not aggressively, calmly, naturally. Because in her mind, you are not someone to be diminished. Men often destroy this without realizing it. They betray confidences. They speak badly about her first. They complain about her to others. And she learns something critical in that moment. This man does not protect bonds. Once she sees that, she assumes he will not protect her either. Respect erodes fast when discretion disappears. Here's the hard truth. When a woman starts oversharing your flaws, joking about your shortcomings, or painting you as incompetent to others, she is not just venting. She is psychologically separating from you. She is lowering you in the social hierarchy of her world so that leaving you later feels justified. A respected man doesn't need to police her speech. He inspires discretion by being consistent, reliable, and honorable in private. He handles conflict without drama. He doesn't turn moments of intimacy into gossip. That restraint earns her loyalty. If you want to know whether she still respects you, ask yourself this quietly. Would she defend me if I wasn't here? If the answer feels uncertain, don't panic, don't confront. Look inward. Respect is restored through changed behavior, not explanations. And once a woman sees you carry yourself with integrity, even when no one is watching, her instinct to protect you returns naturally. The fourth thing a woman only does for a man she truly respects is that she invests effort without keeping score. This is where most men get confused, because effort looks like love, but psychologically it's different. Love can be emotional. Respect is intentional. When a woman respects you, she gives without monitoring the balance every second. She contributes because she believes the connection is solid, not because she's trying to earn something back. You'll feel this in the way she shows up. She remembers details without announcing it. She supports your goals without needing to be centered in them. She helps solve problems instead of creating tests. There's no silent ledger in her head tracking who did what last. That mental ledger appears when respect is shaky. When respect is strong, generosity flows naturally. Here's the deeper psychology. A woman only invests freely when she believes the man is internally accountable. She trusts that he notices, appreciates, and reciprocates in his own way. Not immediately, not performatively, but consistently. Respect tells her that effort won't be wasted on someone who takes without awareness. Men lose this when they become entitled, when appreciation disappears, when effort is expected instead of valued. The moment she feels her contribution is invisible, she starts counting. And when she starts counting, she's already pulling back emotionally. Scorekeeping is a defense mechanism. It protects her from overgiving to a man she no longer trusts to self-regulate. Notice the difference between effort and overfunctioning. A woman who respects you doesn't mother you. She doesn't manage your life. She doesn't clean up your messes repeatedly. That's not respect. That's compensation. Respect-driven effort is supportive, not rescuing. It assumes competence in you. A respected man doesn't beg for effort. He doesn't demand sacrifice. He creates a structure where contribution feels meaningful. He acknowledges without groveling. He receives without guilt. He gives without announcement. That balance is rare, and women recognize it immediately. When respect fades, effort becomes conditional. She waits to see what you'll do first. She delays, she withholds, not to punish, but to protect herself from imbalance. If you feel like you're constantly negotiating effort, respect is already strained. Ask yourself this honestly: does her effort feel calm and natural or tense and transactional? Calm effort comes from respect. Transactional effort comes from uncertainty, and no amount of persuasion can turn uncertainty back into respect. Only grounded behavior over time does that. When a woman sees you value effort without exploiting it, she leans in. When she sees you rely on it without appreciation, she retreats. Respect is not loud. It's revealed in what she gives when she doesn't feel watched. The fifth thing a woman only does for a man she truly respects is that she allows herself to be influenced by him. This is subtle, and it's where male ego often sabotages everything. Influence is not obedience. It's internal consideration. When a woman respects you, your words don't just land in her ears. They echo in her decisions when you're not there. You'll notice this in small, quiet ways. She reflects on something you said days later. She adjusts her perspective after a disagreement instead of doubling down. She asks herself how you would see a situation before acting. This is not because she doubts herself, but because she values your mind. Respect makes your internal compass relevant to her. Psychologically, influence requires admiration. A woman does not allow herself to be influenced by a man she sees as emotionally reactive, inconsistent, or ego-driven. She may listen, she may nod, but she will not integrate. Integration only happens when she believes your thinking is grounded, principled, and not motivated by control. Most men misunderstand this and try to force influence through logic, volume, or repetition. They argue harder, they explain longer, they push for agreement, and in doing so, they destroy the very thing they want. Forced influence creates resistance, earned influence creates reflection. A respected man doesn't need to win every conversation. He plants ideas calmly and lets them breathe. He's not threatened if she disagrees in the moment. He trusts that consistency over time speaks louder than persuasion. That confidence is what makes his influence powerful. Here's a hard truth. When a woman stops being influenced by you, she may still listen, but she has emotionally detached from your authority. She no longer sees you as a reference point. At that stage, she's already building an internal world that does not include your leadership. Men often cause this by being unpredictable, saying one thing and doing another, reacting emotionally instead of responding thoughtfully, or making everything about being right instead of being aligned. Respect erodes when your words stop matching your behavior. If you want to know whether she respects you, ask yourself this: do my words shape her thinking over time, or do they disappear the moment the conversation ends? Influence that fades instantly was never there. A woman who respects you may challenge you, but she still absorbs you. She carries your perspective quietly, and that is one of the deepest forms of respect there is. Because once a woman lets you influence her inner world, she is telling you something profound. She sees you as a man worth learning from, not just reacting to. The sixth thing a woman only does for a man she truly respects is that she reveals her vulnerability without using it as leverage. This is where respect separates itself from emotional games completely. When a woman respects you, she doesn't weaponize her emotions. She doesn't cry to control you, confess to bind you, or share pain to test your reaction. She opens up because she trusts your strength, not your sympathy. This kind of vulnerability is calm, not chaotic. She shares fears without dramatizing them. She admits insecurity without asking you to fix it. She allows you to see uncertainty without collapsing into it. Psychologically, this only happens when a woman believes a man can hold emotional weight without becoming overwhelmed, dismissive, or inflated by it. Men often mistake emotional intensity for vulnerability. They think tears, anxiety, or emotional dependence mean closeness. It doesn't. Those can exist without respect. True vulnerability is quieter. It's a woman saying something real and trusting you won't use it against her later, consciously or unconsciously. Here's where many men fail. They interrupt vulnerability with solutions. They minimize it with logic. Or worse, they store it mentally and bring it up during conflict. The moment a woman senses that her openness becomes a future liability, she closes permanently. Not angrily, strategically. Respect requires emotional safety. A respected man listens without panic. He doesn't rush to rescue or correct. He stays present. He regulates himself. That regulation tells her something essential. I can be myself here without consequences. That's rare. And women never offer that space to men they don't respect. When respect fades, vulnerability turns into performance or disappears entirely. She either becomes overly emotional to provoke a reaction or emotionally sealed to protect herself. Both are signs that she no longer trusts your internal stability. Ask yourself this honestly. When she opens up, do you feel pressure to fix, defend, or explain? Or can you stay grounded and curious? Your answer tells you whether you're someone a woman can respect deeply. A woman who respects you doesn't need you to save her. She needs you to stay solid while she reveals herself. And when she does, she's not giving you power over her, she's acknowledging yours. This is why respect is so fragile and so powerful at the same time. It's built in moments where you do less, not more, where you stay instead of react, where you listen instead of perform. If a woman still trusts you with her unguarded inner world, respect is alive. And if she doesn't, no speech, apology, or emotional display will reopen that door. Only consistent strength, shown quietly over time, ever does. Now listen carefully, because this is where everything comes together and where most men finally understand what they've been feeling but couldn't name. When a woman truly respects you, the final thing she does is this. She stays consistent even when her emotions fluctuate. Desire can rise and fall, mood can change, attraction can waver, but respect anchors her behavior. This is why respect is more valuable than chemistry. A woman who respects you doesn't punish you for a bad day. She doesn't rewrite history after an argument. She doesn't suddenly change the rules when she's upset. Her treatment of you remains steady because her perception of your character is stable. Psychologically, consistency is the fingerprint of respect. Men often panic when emotions shift. They overreact to distance, misread silence, or chase reassurance. And in doing so, they unknowingly signal instability. Respect weakens when a man needs constant emotional confirmation to feel grounded. A respected man allows space without spiraling. He trusts the foundation he's built. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When respect is gone, inconsistency appears. One day she's warm, the next she's cold. One moment she's engaged, the next she's distant. Not because she's confused, but because she no longer feels internally obligated to stay aligned. Respect creates self-regulation. Without it, behavior becomes reactive. This is why chasing respect never works. Explaining yourself doesn't restore it. Promising change doesn't rebuild it. Begging destroys it further. Respect returns only when a woman observes, over time, that your emotional center does not move with pressure, that you don't collapse when challenged, that you don't inflate when validated, that you remain you. A respected man is not perfect. He's predictable in the best way. His values don't shift. His reactions are proportionate. His presence is steady, and that steadiness allows a woman to relax into herself without monitoring you. If you take nothing else from this, remember this line. Women don't respect men who try to be impressive. They respect men who are internally anchored. Everything you've heard today flows from that. So if you're wondering whether a woman respects you, stop looking at her attraction, her affection, or her words. Look at her consistency. Look at how safe she feels being real, calm, and aligned around you. Respect isn't dramatic, it's quiet. And when you finally embody the kind of man who doesn't need to demand it, explain it, or chase it, women don't just feel drawn to you, they adjust themselves around you. And that adjustment is the deepest form of respect there is.